Okay. Ready to start this the cam Kale? Get the tape rolling.
We should be good to go. Yep, we're good.
All right. Hey everyone, and welcome to week 17, I think, of Game Development Club. Today we're joined by a very special guest. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Squidly. I'm the coolest person you'll meet today. Maybe tomorrow too. Who knows? I make games. This is about making games. That's about all you need to know for now. You're muted.
All right. Yeah. All right. So let's learn about making games.
All right. So I start now. All right. Hi, this is me. I'm Squidly. I'm making games. I've been doing it for a long time. Renane is my main game for almost 7 years. Also, I stream. You're looking at my stream layout right now. Isn't it beautiful? I'm just gonna get Renee out of the way. This is the game. It's really cool looking. Your Ain, she's the Phoenix Knight. She slashy, hoppy, and then boppy. And you'll learn more about that in a moment, actually. Well, actually, later. Anyways, this is basically the gist. In case those other gifts didn't tell you anything. Let's get into it. Part 1, From Humble Beginnings. I've been wanting to do games my entire life. Here is a story about my sister being born. At the very end, it says about the author. Squidly is 6. He likes to play games. He likes to play outside. He wants to be a doctor or work in a game factory. Unfortunately, I have done neither of those, and I'm a failure. Part 1's over. Part 2, lesson 1. Let's get into the part where you actually want to, what you're here for. And the first part of this whole game dev thing is nothing about game dev at all, but it is game dev related. Know your strengths, know your faults. I'm going to be very brutally honest with you guys. Many game devs don't really have many social skills or are self-aware. And this is true of actually pretty much every human you'll meet in your adult life, so it's not really specific to game devs, but I like to point it out just because, we're all game devs here. So knowing yourself is actually the number one way to make games, because if you don't know yourself, you will not be able to make them. Not even kidding. Been there, done that. So I'm going to tell you my good attributes, and I'm going to be very honest with myself. First of all, I'm actually the best dancer, as you can see right here. This is me and my boys from the Egyptian famous music video for, what song was that? Oh yeah, it's the one that goes like, yeah, Habibi. Yeah, that one. It's really good. You've never heard of it unless you're Egyptian. Anyways, my other attributes is I'm very scrappy. I'm very determined, and I'd like to say I'm very friendly. So those are very good attributes to have. Let's talk about the bad ones. I hate every vending machine I've seen. I throw a chair in it. That's what that gift's trying to show. Can't be let near one, actually. So much so that my stream layout's based off of vending machine. That's how much I hate them. But my other bad attributes are I'm a procrastinator. I kind of focus on the trees, not the forest. Or I miss the trees for the forest. I mean, other way around. I said forest for the trees, and the other way around. And I'm very stress prone. So these two good attributes, bad attributes. Good attributes being scrappy, determined, friendly. Bad attributes being procrastinator, trees for the forest, and stress prone mean I have a yin, which are statements that start with a negative. I'm scrappy, but I procrastinate, requiring my scrappiness. My scrappiness has come from delaying things too long. I was like, oh, how can I get this done in 2 hours? I'm determined, but I miss the trees for the forest. As in, that determination sometimes goes nowhere of value. Hence 7 years on one game. I'm friendly, but I can get stressed, which makes me a little less friendly. Now, you can look at it as just negatives, but you can also look at it as a yang, the yang side of this. So you start with the negative and lead to a positive. I procrastinate, but it's led to my best work due to my scrappiness. I'm very good at game jams, for example. I miss the trees for the forest, but I will always see something through. I do not give up, ever. So even if I'm kind of missing, the bigger picture sometimes, missing the details and focusing too much on the big picture, I will see those details through. I will always do that. I could get stressed out, but I'm also very dependable. So a little anecdote about knowing yourself a little bit here. You can, use this to your advantage. That's why it always comes back to Renee and always comes back to game dev. Renee had 2 Kickstarters. The first one failed. This was back in 2017. I used my school's accelerator program, which was essentially Wentworth had this thing called the WIT Accelerate program. And it was never actually used for games. It's only used for everyone there is an engineer. So it's like, oh, I'm going to build a new polymer or something crazy. Things that actually help the world. But I'm like, I want to make video games. And they sit you down in front of these Shark Tank kind of dudes. And they're like, well, tell us why we should fund you. And everyone was coming in with their, the guys who got funded last year came with the shirts with their brand on them. And I was like, all right, I got to tell the story. I'm like the only team member here. I mean, I had Mason, who was my composer, but he was standing on the side because he wasn't actually from the school. And I basically just told them my personal story. I actually showed them the image I showed you before with the book of I want to make games since I was 6. And I basically said, what do games mean to me? How Renee kind of shows those things, the inspirations. And we were the only ones fully funded. It's kind of hard to find statistics, especially back in 2017. Because statistics keeping just isn't there yet for games, and a lot of companies are private, or they just don't have the standards that other companies do or other industries do. So when I focus on what games mean to me and why I'm making this, I'm also kind of going well, I don't really have the statistics, but I can tell you that I know if I believe in myself, yada, 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 it'll work out. And you can only really do that if you know your yin and your yang. Let's to the actual games then. Lesson 2, clean design. This is 2 of 3, by the way. There's another one after this. This is me frolicking on the beach. I'm in Egypt right now. We have beautiful beaches. You should come by sometime. The core mechanics diagram is the most important thing I've ever heard. I learned about this in Newgrounds during the Game Jam number 3 or whatever back in 2012. And the whole thing was to build around a core mechanics diagram that someone else gave you. But the idea is that you have this core mechanic in the center, you have secondary mechanics, progression, narrative, or hero myth at the outside. You can maybe disagree with what those specific outer circles are, but I really believe in the core 2, and I really believe also in the third one. The fourth one, depends. So can you recognize these games? Do we do a handshake, hand raise thing? Can we do that?
I think they can see in I think in the chat they can say something. Yeah.
All right. What's the first one? All right, I'll just say what they are. The first one's Mario. Jump, remove enemies, collect coins, accumulate lives, progress through levels, save the princess. The core of Mario is his jumping. You look at his shoes, that's his jumping. Every time he runs and does a thing, he jumps. That's the big thing. Shoot, solve puzzles, progress through levels, escape from psychotic robot. That is Portal. The core mechanic of that game is shooting. You shoot Portal, you jump through Portal, but you have to shoot the Portal first. Fly. In revive flowers, progress through areas, revive the environment. You're all Zoomers. You wouldn't know this game. It's called Flower. No one even remembers it in my generation. Don't worry. Fight, complete missions, progress through areas, gain levels, unlock skills, save the world from doom. That's pretty much every JRPG ever. That's every RPG ever.
I think
So
Shia
you can see how these all.
flowers. I think Shia
What?
remembers flowers. There's one person in there who knows flowers.
There you go. You are born in the wrong generation. Congratulations. So one of my favorite examples is if you replace jump with run in the first one, you get an entirely different character. Can you guess what character that is? Whose core mechanic is as a platformer is run? There you go, Sonic. You're right. Here you go. That's for you. Renane has a tagline of hop, bop, and roll. But what is the most central? Hop, bop, or roll? I have a lot of these gifts, by the way. Like, I really do have tons. Every single stream I do have a new one. So to figure out what is the most central, let's do a thought experiment. Let's compare Link to Ain. Ain is this Phoenix Knight. She's awesome. Look at that. And this is Link. He's an elf. He's very small. Yeah. So let's look at Link at a glance. Here he is using a sword. Ain has a sword, as you saw earlier. Oh, they should be the same character, right? It may not be so obvious from this GIF, so we'll take a different little approach to seeing it. What the difference is here, and it's to see it. Let me just say, Link in other games. Let's look at Link in another game. What is Link doing here? He is using his boomerang, his bomb, and then his grappling hook, and then his sword to beat the ever-loving crap out of this Jigglypuff. I don't know why he's doing it. He's bad. He's a bad influence. Don't look at him. But that's his whole thing. So Zelda's core isn't sword. It's all of that. And the sword's at the end. It's all these items. Tons and tons of items. Every single Zelda game is like, oh, what kind of new items are there this time around? So the items help with doing dungeons, beating bosses, solving puzzles. Most bosses are a puzzle. So at its core, Link's kind of central thing isn't his sword, it's his tools. So let's look at what Ain does in other games. This is Ain in Framemakers. She's an assist. What is she doing? Is she hopping, bopping, or rolling? Bopping means attacking. Backflip. Yeah, I mean, technically true, but is she hopping, bopping, or rolling? Come on. Throw your guesses into chat. What is the thing that they recognize was the most prominent aspect of Ain? It's bop, right? Also, I think this one's really funny. I don't even know what led to this happening, but that's enjoyable. There's so many of them. Look at them. Look at them go. So you're right. In Renane, the most important thing is actually the bop. I do say hop, bop, and roll, but the most important thing is actually the bop. Bop is the primary action. If you look at this GIF, what is the first thing she does? She jumps, but that's only to bop. And then she continues with the combo, and then she rolls out of her bop, and that the whole thing is basically do these things so you can attack more. And so bop is the primary action. Your hop enhances bop. You get to like jump, slash, do stuff like that. And then roll enhances your hop and your bop. That's actually wrong. Hop and bop. But yeah. When designing Renane, focus on the bop. That's what I always do. Ain's whole thing is that this game plays like a fighting game. Renee plays like a fighting game. She has fighting game moves with a platformer moveset. So by focusing on the bop, I'm sure that like when making bosses where like they're not too puzzly, they have like, weaknesses and stuff like that, but they're not like, Zelda, figure out how to find the eye or something like that. Like it's a different kind of fight. Now you can actually compare Renee to Ain to other characters from Renee in other crossovers. This is actually the second crossover Renee had. This is Shermella. She's a mushroom witch, and she is in Harvest Hero Origins, which is fun. So it's kind of a tower defense wave, not tower defense, it's a wave-based game. So her whole thing is she's a mushroom witch, so she sets up mushrooms that explode when things touch them. Then she can also, like, once she gets like later in levels, she can grow to a huge size by eating a mushroom. And then she goes all stompy. It's much different gameplay. She's not using her sword. She's not doing that because that's not her thing. She doesn't have a sword. She is a witch, so she uses, setups and trickery, stuff like that. So that's actually all I'll talk about core game dev, because I think there's actually a more important thing to know about making games. If you notice that you probably came in here expecting like 20 lessons about like making games. I am giving you lessons about making games, but I'm going to give them from the direction that you may not expect. Because lesson 3 is hanging in there. It is one thing to start a game. It is one thing to know what you're good at when making a game. It's an entirely different thing to remain as a person making a game. So you want to be a game dev. And yes, I really do have a lot of these, right here. a lot of gifts. Games are where art meets tech. It's all the hype of tech. It's all the creativity of art, which is really nice. It's all the personalities of art, all the personalities of tech. Think of the most stereotypical artist you can think of. Think of the most stereotypical tech dude you can think of. You will encounter both of them. All the financials of art and all the financials of tech, which if you know anything about art or tech, are completely different. Art's very patron-based. Tech is very, here is a gajillion dollars, or your startup funding accelerator or whatever, from either investors. There's always an investor somewhere down the line. It's completely different than, very like, oh, I'm going to work with this museum, or, oh, I'm going to, open up a Patreon, or, oh, I'm going to, do stuff like that. Less like several individuals, more like, it's different. So the kind of what happens when these two combine is a lot of stress, because you have what are essentially two opposites smashing together. Right brain, left brain. You have the ultimate left brain and the ultimate right brain. You got this business duck and this breakdancing duck. The business duck has like a earpiece and he's talking about the stonks. Meanwhile, the breakdancing duck is doing his thing. They're not going to get along. So this happens literally all the time in the same team, across teams, and big teams, small teams, everywhere. Within yourself, even, in some cases. So personalities will clash. Things are not as developed as other industries. We are a new industry. And mental health is overall a complete disaster. You ever wonder why there's that trope indie game about depression? It just is. That's common, a thing. Nier Automata, one of the best games I've ever played. Whatever's going on in that dude's head, I do not know. I don't want to know. But it's beautiful and I can relate. So, and I'm a game dev, so that tells you all you need to know. Yeah, it's artists, tech people, and this stuff pretty much shows exactly what's going on. Look at him go. I'm gonna be honest with you. People are gonna screw you over. This is like I told you, like we're talking about hanging in there. One thing to expect is that it's gonna happen. You will trust some person. They will betray your trust. It is part of business. It is just how it is. You can have contracts. They could screw you over the contract. It may be a big publisher, maybe a small publisher. It might be your, friend. It might whatever. It's just I wouldn't say this if I didn't think it was true. I've never met an indie that hasn't been screwed in some way. And I've never met a AAA dev that hasn't been screwed in some way. It's a dog eat dog world. Yada yada yada. Personally, I left a publisher for reasons you can look up, but I cannot talk about. Another publisher strung me along for 9 months. And then they were just like, they had to change a guard. New person came in, canceled all contracts that were in progress. So negotiate contract for 9 months, spend $1,000 on lawyers, and then no, just all of a sudden, it's part of the industry. It's just happens. And I had to work a full-time job plus game job for a while now. That only ever stopped when I got another publisher. So how do you hang in there? There's 3 aspects: friends, finance, and passion. Maintain all 3. The first one is friends, and you got to be social. Anyone that's telling you that you can get anywhere in games on your skills alone is just lying to you. It is very hard to get anywhere on your skills alone. It has happened before, sure, but it's not very common. You have to learn how to be social. And I don't mean you become a social butterfly. I mean, you do this. So, like, don't be like Soda Man over here. Soda Man's myself, who's like, they don't know I'm a cool person with deep interests that other people could find interesting and unique. Because if you do that and you go to the game event, and you sit over there, you'll be like, well, I'm just not a social person. I can't go talk to that person. And then you're going to meet nobody. You're going to get 0 business cards, and you will not have any sort of, like, I don't know, not even business cards, man, just saying relationships, like friendships. Like, having friendships in the industry does make the industry more tolerable, because, of all those other things that said are negatives. This is the positive. This is how you stick in there. Good friends are always hard to come by. They're easy come, easy go. This is something, I realize I'm talking to high schoolers. Most of your friends in high school will not be your friends after high school. It's just how it is. It's not because you hate each other. It's just that you drift apart. But those are the friends you've had 12 years of investment on, or so, or less. I don't know, it depends. Most friends in your adult life, you're going to find some core friends, but most friends are easy come, easy go. Especially in your late 20s. It's just like, one of the hardest things is just realizing who is the person sticking by. But it's just, you will go through this process. It will happen. Like I said, easy come, highlighted, like, easy come, easy go. Don't sweat it. Like, don't sweat like, oh, I'm not making friends. They will come if you are yourself. If you are this person, like, doing the opposite of what he's doing, like, he's actually going out and saying, hey, I'm a cool person with deep interests. Like, even if it's a weird interest, even if you're, like, really into Hot Wheels or some shit. I know people who are into Hot Wheels. I sent Hot Wheels to somebody, and they're a good friend, that I met through this stuff, like, he's telling me about Hot Wheels, man. I'm just like, this actually, you're making it sound interesting, You can make anything sound interesting if you're passionate about it, honestly. You just have to find the people who are willing to, like, listen about that specific thing, really. And then finally, finance. But first, a random side. I told Cheese and mentioned this. I don't know what you go by here, Ryan or something. I don't know your name.
Yeah, just Ryan.
All right, Ryan. Because I said to mention this and relates sort of. If you live in the West Coast, let's talk about conventions, because it's important. Every game dev will probably go to one eventually. If you live in the West Coast, you're only going to go to PAX West or GDC. Where's this school located?
Yeah, California, sort of near the Bay. So yeah.
Okay, so GDC is happening in March. So this is what you're going to do if you want to get a head start on this whole thing. First of all, for reasons I'll explain later, GDC is going to have a little different vibe this year. But there's a garden right outside GDC where everyone who just hangs out. You don't need the pass. You don't need to spend any money at all. Just go to that garden and just sit there. And, if you're an artist, start doing your art. Or if you're just whatever, just start talking to people. This is the place where it's socially acceptable to walk up to people and talk. It's called I think, Buena Vista Garden. I don't know. It's the one right outside of GDC. Look it up. Go do that. You guys are in the perfect spot for that. You spawned in the right location. But yes, PAX West should be the farthest you go. And it's actually really hard to. I'll explain why in a moment. But if you live in the East Coast, you only go to PAX West. You might go to too many games. which is a convention in Philly, which is starting to grow a lot. But regardless, those are the only three places you should be going. I mean, E3 doesn't exist anymore because the cost of a PAX East or West booth is around $2,200. So yeah, $2,200. And then if I have done both, East, I live right next to East. I live in Greater Boston, so that was pretty much the only cost I did, plus $600 to $1,000 in materials. But when I went to West, I had to also buy hotels, airfare, all that added another $3,000 or so. It was not fun. It really wasn't. Like, do not do it. So for you guys, I'd really recommend you just go to GDC. Like, it's right there. If you're in the Greater Bay Area, if you have a license, go. Carpool, I don't know. Just, you're young, do it. Sides over. Let's talk about GDC is a different vibe. The next few years are going to be bumpy. Do not be financially dependent on the game industry right now. I mean this in actual capital letters, bold case, everything, like alarm signs right now. I wouldn't say this maybe several months ago, but it's in the shitter. For the next 2 years, it will be in the shitter. Congratulations, all of you guys are in high school. You don't actually have to worry about this unless you try to go for it right now, which you really shouldn't. Do not be financially dependent on the game industry right now. Do not be financially dependent on the game industry right now. This is my friend Rami Ismail. He has advised literally thousands of indies. He's one of the most traveled people I've ever met. He's also Egyptian. That's how we know each other. There is no funding. There is literally no funding. If you have a game that's already in progress, you already have the funding for it, you're good. Maybe. If you're trying to get new funding, you will not get it. Period. This just does not exist. So that luckily you can make games without funding. Yeah. Forgot this slide here. Is this emphasis here? I mean it. I really mean it. There is no funding. Zip Nada. You are not the exception. You are in high school, so use it. Make games on your own time. These are the games I made when I was in high school. All of the left side. I made a Blobwork Orange when I was in middle school. That game was ahead of its time. Electoral Brawl, where Obama and McCain fought each other. Actually, no, I think it was Obama and Abraham Lincoln, and then McCain was someone I want to add in later. But do you guys even know who McCain is? Probably, right?
Yeah, did he run against Obama, I think?
Yeah, that's context clues on that one, yeah. Super Adventure Gameland was the first game that actually did pretty well. That was literally, you are this little knight dude and you walk to the left. I can zoom this shit in. Yeah. Subcon Introspection was a walking sim. The Hunt Air Force was a game jam game. And then Second Wind was my big RPG that people really liked. I kind of just went for it. That game is literally programmed as a glorified slideshow in Adobe Flash. I really didn't know much more than basic variable math. And go to and play this frame. That's it. And I made an RPG out of that. So coding is not your limitation. And I did that when I was in high school. Last year of high school. I did it in junior year, and then I finished it in high school, in senior year, the very beginning. These are what I made in college. Snake Redux was just like a game jam game where you play Snake, and it was really intense. Authentic Octopus Games, what I worked on for 2 years. I completely skipped over Project Flup and Shut Up and Fulp. If you guys know who Tom Fulp is, that's the guy. Only You Can Scare Them was a game jam game. By the way, do game jams. Do you notice how a lot of these are game jam games or made in a very short period of time? That is a very fast way to gain skills very fast. There is skills involved in making longer games, but you don't need them yet. Please make game jams. Finish things. If you know how to finish things, then finishing bigger things is easier. As long as you actually start making bigger things later. Very easy to not do that. Shout out to the little octopus that nobody likes, Authentic Octopus Game. Look at him go. If you actually go on newgrounds.com right now, they're doing Pixel Day. And if you look at the bottom right, you can see the little octopuses there. Someone remembered that game from 2016 and put them in there. All right, so I have talked about your friends, your finance, and your last but not least is passion. This is probably why you're here, why you even came to Game Dev Club in the first place. Look at my crappy little drawing. This is the second win 10th anniversary. No hype, no fanfare, just all the character classes throwing me into the air. And I drew it for myself, and I was very happy because I'm passionate, passionless, right? Realize this. So I'm going to give you the brutal truth here. Most game devs do not make a ton of money. Only some game devs make money, period. You aren't here for the money. If you are here for the money, do literally anything else. I'm not even kidding. You are here because this is your dream, and it's going to be hard. It's just the truth of things. It's hard to be famous. It's hard to get your game seen. You need to be okay with neither ever being true. You need to be in it because it is art, and you are here because you are an artist. And you want to make games because they're freaking cool. All right? The best friends I ever made in my adult life are the friends who are not even tangentially related to the game industry. They are just a bunch of dudes I play League with every night. And when I do something really cool, it took several hours, I show it to them. It's like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. But like, they don't have like some crazy deep appreciation for it because this is just the cool thing their friend made. And that is the best kind of reassurance I ever get. That makes it worth it by itself, honestly. You gotta be passionate, believe in the heart of the cards. I only have this slide because I want to use this GIF again. I mean, I really worked hard on that one, actually. Believe in the heart of the cards or games. All right, that's all I got. This is shameless plugs. This is Renane. You can wishlist it on Steam. This QR code will come later. Whenever the hell that's coming out. My week daily game dev stream. This is how I know cheese. It's always a good time out here. You can see the stream layout. Imagine it with some fun music and good vibes, and then you'd be good. Pretty much what we got. And then Q&A time. By the way, I'm at Squidly pretty much anywhere, including Discord. You can add me if you want. And we can talk if you have questions outside of this. Discord.gg/Renane is the server for Renane. And then these are the QR codes. I think this one's my personal. And look at this. Look at these animals breaking it down. They're going to be here all day. All right, Q&A. Kind of speed run that one, so we have some time. When did I get my driver's license? That's well, wait, are we doing this like just the first question that comes?
I guess so.
So I have actually an embarrassing answer to that one. I actually got it when I was like 24. I got it really late. Any other questions? Is there another way of doing this? Is like the raise hand thing or no?
I'm not sure if Stage has that.
So
No,
you can focus this person.
I mean, I'm pretty sure people can just raise their hand and then we could get them to bring on stage and then ask a question.
Oh, I do actually see there's like a hand raise button called request to. Oh, it's request to speak. Yeah. Raise hand is disabled apparently.
Raise hand
Oh.
should be enabled. So people should now be able to raise their hand.
We have another question.
Do I get enough games for my games right now, or do I have a part job? I have a publisher, so I'm running off that for now. But I gotta step that my shit to gear, or else they ain't gonna be the case in the soon. Most people who are happy in the game industry have a part-time job. It is really stressful to run off of publisher fumes, especially right now because things are tightening a little bit. So it's kind of a race to the clock right now. It's been 7 years on Renane as of next month. But that's like starting from college, like all the way back then. So like not hyper focused work of 7 months. I did not make it alone. I do have a team, but what jobs do you recommend if you need money? If what kind of jobs? What kind of degree do you have? I have a general computer science degree, so I worked in chatbots for a while. This is before like GPT-3. It was a GPT-2, and we didn't even use it. We just like if you go on dcu.org, the Federal Credit Union, you actually see the chatbot I made there. It was just for that credit unions. Paid good money. Do we want to do this raise hand thing? Like ask questions vocally, or am I just like rapid fire here?
Yeah. You can show a request to speak, and then we can invite you to speak on the stage if you want. So you can. I think that's an option you guys have with the. There's like a raise hand with the 3 bars on the top right. You can try to request to speak.
I think Jura's raising their hand.
Yeah, okay. So when you first started making the game, how big was the team and like when you started, when you
One
began?
person.
And then did you have to hire like someone to do the art? Like,
Yeah.
mm,
But that was like a trickle process. Like that was like a year later.
oh, nice. That's
Yeah.
very cool.
It's because of the Kickstarter and then other stuff too.
Yeah, Tan's been with me from the very beginning, making art and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's fun. He's like a part of my team per se, in quotation marks. I don't pay him anything.
Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, I did want to ask about like the Kickstarter. Like you said your Kickstarter was 2017. Like that's your first one.
Yeah.
And then when was your second one?
2018.
2018. Okay.
We got money to do PAX East, and that's when we timed it. 2018 PAX East.
Oh. Okay.
There's a whole lecture I could give on Kickstarter strategies, by the way.
So you guys were fully funded, like.
Yes.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, when is Renee when is Renee coming out?
Within the year.
Oh.
I'm like
Okay.
sprinting right now. If you see me on stream, I'm sprinting.
Very cool. All right. Thank you, Squidly.
Yeah, you're always working. It's great.
Yeah. Raise the hands.
Hello,
So,
is this working?
yep.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. While making the Renee, what was like the biggest problem that you got?
Funding by far. Yeah. COVID happened in the middle of it, so just shenanigans. You guys are coming in a much more stable time. If you wait 2 years.
2 years specifically.
Yeah, just wait to literally don't mess with funding right now. You won't get it. It's a waste of your time. I'm not even kidding. Like I wouldn't like I'm giving you the advice that you're gonna get at other places soon too. Like it's not happening. There's zero. You saw layoffs today in 1,900 Microsoft yesterday, 900 right? It's yeah. But if you come back in like 2 years, if you work on your skills, have a portfolio, do those game jams I was talking about, make some smaller shit, Cheese does a good job of that, honestly. He's gonna be all right.
Cool.
I don't know your other games.
Yeah, we're actually going to be starting group projects like next time. So you guys can start,
Alright.
Making some games, fill up your portfolio.
I mean, think about your core mechanics. I'm not even kidding. Like, it makes things so much easier. Because most games are usually carried by one good feeling thing, and it's just dressed up with a whole bunch of other stuff too that's built around it. So getting the hits to feel good in Renane was one of like the biggest things. Stuff like hit stop, impact, vibration. You know, your keyboard doesn't have rumble, so we make the screen shake a little bit, not crazy amount, a little bit, so it gives like a little punch.
I actually have a question for you.
Okay.
So when you were developing Renane, was there like one bug that really stuck out to you that like took a while to finish?
Bug?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, doors. Doors. Everything with doors. I hate doors. I never want to look at a door ever again. I have a door next to me and it's making me stressed out. Doors were made by Satan. I'm pretty sure. If you don't code them correctly, they will be your worst enemy for the rest of your life, for the rest of your game's existence. Especially if you change the way your game loads levels, like I did. Fun stuff. How'd I learn game dev? I went for it. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, back then it was like you'd go on a website and be like flashtutorials.com, and you just kind of go like, okay, now that I made the slideshow game, like Bulwark Orange is a slideshow game, how do I make some variables? You know, like how do I make some? Now that I made the variables, how do I make like this object move around when I press the arrow keys, stuff like that. It's just procedural. Nowadays, there's tutorials that could just teach you all that stuff in like a few weeks. But
Abiram also asked, how did you come up with the idea for Renane?
It was procedural. I was actually building an arcade machine. It was going to be an arcadey game, kind of like Castle Crashers meets Spelunky. And then if you can actually go in my Newgrounds and see my old version of Super Night Quest, is what it used to be called, and see how different of a game it was. It was originally a roguelike, and it stopped being a roguelike. It still has some of those elements, just with like the levels randomly generated, but now it's town-based, kind of like MapleStory. So and then I just started throwing things in that I like. I mean, the hit feel of Third Strike was a really big inspiration. The movement feel of like Sonic and Super Mario World. I always hated Sonic's jump, but I love Super Mario World's jump, and I love Sonic's momentum, but I hate how it takes them forever to stop. So I decided, like, all right, let's take some lessons from other games for that. I love MapleStory. I love Thousand Year Door. So there's a lot of quests in Renane, a lot of towns, stuff like that. Have I taught any specific person in particular how to use Haxflixel? How to use it from scratch? Not very, but I've fielded questions from a lot of people. Back when Cam of Ninja Muffin was learning Haxflixel, he would ask me some questions. I helped him with a problem with Week 7. Is that the Pixel one? I never actually played the game all the way through. Yeah,
I think Week 7 was Tankman.
No, whatever the Pixel one was. Because I had a warping effect in Renane that I used for water that he wanted to use. Yeah, I don't even know, man. I haven't played the game. Don't tell him I said that. He probably already knows. I think it's kind of assumed when you make games that you don't actually play your friends' games often. I like Haxflixel the most. Actually, I like Flash the most, but Flash is dead, so I like Haxflixel the most.
Could you talk about more of like the differences between Haxflixel and Unity?
Oh boy. Unity is. I don't recommend you use Unity at all, actually. I mean, it used to be like, oh, maybe you could recommend it, but I really think if you're on Unity, you should be, especially at your age, you should be looking at alternatives at this point. I mean that
we use Unity for this club.
Well, I'm very sorry to hear that.
Well, this is all.
I mean, you're learning, right? So here's the deal, Here's the deal. Here's my little side. So you can learn Unity for learning, right? But and it's like it's good for small teams, right? But the thing is, you should know how to use other engines eventually. Is kind of what more so. So learn Unity. Sure, yeah, making games fine. Make your game jams fine. But eventually you need to learn how to make games in other engines. I don't even care what engine it is. You can still use Unity as your main thing. The thing is, you need to make sure you're not learning how to use Unity. You're learning how to make games. That is the key thing. and you'll find the similarities and stuff. Like, a game dev should be able, like a really good game dev should be able to be given a terminal from 1980s and instructions on how to code in BASIC and make something at least a little interesting.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So I got
Unity-
roasted in Unity.
Yeah, almost kind of funny, but I definitely do agree that we should all look into different engines later on. But Unity, I feel like, is a good starting point for everybody since it's really easy to just get started with Unity.
There's
You agree
tons
with
of
that,
resources. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, keep in mind, I'm coming from like a game dev of like, I've been doing this for a long time. I'm not coming from a learning in a classroom perspective. So learning classroom, as far as things to tools to learn how to like make games, there's so much more for Unity than anything else. So in terms of learning, it's fantastic, But what you should be able to do is, after you're done with that, like look at tutorials for other languages, and you should see that the time to learn every new language or engine decreases the more you do. Like at this point, I know I make games in Flash, which made it easier to learn how to do Xfixel, which would make it a lot easier to learn how to use like Godot or Unity. I haven't really messed with those, but like for that, I actually also used Unreal Engine 3 in a coding camp back in the days where coding camps were really bad. Shutters. My favorite language is Hex, by far. Actually, no, my favorite language is Python. But I like Hex too. Python is fun to mess around with in a way that no other language is because Python is just so fast to write, which is kind of nice. Like even Hex is like pretty fast to write, but like Python is like turbo speed. You can just open a file and write and you're done. Like within 3 sentences you have like a thing. Hell, within 1 sentence you have a thing. My least favorite, because that's the other question probably, is JavaScript by far. I hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it, and I hate that's the standard for anything. I've made so many Discord bots using JavaScript. I've never enjoyed a single moment of it. It's so bad. It's so complicated to look at. It's like dot
Yeah, I feel like
operators.
I'm having an aneurysm every time I look at one of the pieces of code. I don't begin to understand it.
It's the coding. I don't know if it's the language or the coding practices of the people who use the language, but just like 20 dot operators in a row is just a nightmare to look at. The whole chain thing they do. Is there other questions? Man, I went through this presentation really fast, didn't I?
It's
I
all right.
talk really fast. I come at you real fast. Who's excited for Tekken 8? Came out today.
It did?
Yeah, I'm gonna go play that. I gotta go buy it. Then I'll play that right afterwards.
Oh my god. I had no idea. I forgot the release date.
Yeah, I just saw like while I was on this thing, like a bunch of my buddies started playing Tekken 8. I was like, damn, I didn't know that would release like right now. Yeah, it just released like 22 minutes ago. Apparently, there's one of them.
Oh wow.
By my guess.
That's great.
I'm a big fighting game fan. If you guys haven't noticed.
What's your favorite fighter?
That's actually a good question. I mean, Third Strike has the best feel. I have a soft spot for Street Fighter 4, though. Just because it's like my most nostalgic one. You want to see some of my fun animations? Been working on so many lately. Cheese already saw them, but the rest of you guys are about to see some true beauty in this world. Where are they? Damn. Yo, check this. It's Gwen from League of Legends. Isn't that cool? Is there other questions, by the way? I'm gonna see the screen.
He said, "Have you played Street Fighter?" But you kind of answered that already. What's your favorite game, just in general?
I don't have one. This is the one. This is BB Hood from Darkstalkers. I haven't actually played this game. She's like Little Red Riding Hood, but she has a machine gun. She's an assassin. She's cool. This is your Evo animation. Favorite game in general, though, I've never played Elden Rings. Are fighting games hard to make? Yes, they are. But you can figure it out. I mean, I know a guy who's making a fighting game with no jumping because he doesn't know how to program jumping. And it's become one of the core mechanics of his game. It's actually a very unique fighting game as a result of that. So much so there was like a YouTube video on how it's called Arcus Chroma. I was like, why do you not have jumping? He's like, well, I just don't know how to make jumping. I'm like, all right. You'll never know what becomes your signature thing till later, you know?
What's somebody asked what the game is called? Could you like put it in the chat?
What game?
Arcus Chroma, like, yeah.
Oh, he's gonna like that. I shouted out that game. I'll tell him I did. To the whatever school this is, game dev club. I didn't do my research before I came here. I just know this is Cheese's game dev club. That's all you really need to know, right?
Yeah. Right. If there aren't any other questions, I think we should wrap this up by right now. Yeah. Unless you got any other animations you want to show them?
Well, I mean, this one has a cola booty. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that one.
All right.
Oh, look at this. This duck has all his moves. Look at that. Look at him go.
Amazing.
This is actually peak. You don't know this, but this is peak.
He's got a side B. Yeah. Thanks for doing this, by the way. It's like you really didn't have to do this, but I'm glad you did.
It's fun. Yeah. Look at this. Sorry. This is like the most intense thing ever. This is parkour, really. See, the chick even like cheers. I'm having a lot of fun animation, so like a new passion for me. Sometimes you never know what you're really gonna enjoy until you go for it. Like, and these skills are transferring to games now, because now I can like do my own animations instead of having to describe to someone. You know, I'm never gonna be as good as like a professional animator, but I'm still, you know, don't have to be, right? When is Duck playable? Duck is playable. I mean, I actually did make a game with a duck called Duck It. Oh, here's a little fun fact. So Duck It was a cool game because I made it for a game jam, and then when I released it on Newgrounds, I added integration for their API. So Duck It at the end of the game gives you your time, whether you ask for it or not, and then it automatically sends it now to the high score table, whether you ask for it or not. So it shows you your time. You know, and Duck It was just about a duck who is sent on a great adventure, but he doesn't actually want to do the adventure, so he spends the entire game in the first level. He literally can't leave the first town. So it's a very short game. It's like a Metroidvania. Yeah, I never actually made that pun. Duck the up. We were thinking of a very different kind of pun for Duck It. But anyways, so when I did that high score thing, basically what immediately happened was people started to this is fun. They start speedrunning it because they would just compare their stuff, right? So if you look at all these speedruns, my best is honestly just 4 minutes. I thought that was the fastest it'll get. The fastest is actually 2 minutes and 47 seconds. And there's actually a video of the speedrun. And this guy does some crazy shit. Is this showing? I'm not gonna show the whole thing, but see some of the cooler movements at the end there. Come on. But it's hyper optimized. Well, I guess this is not the most exciting part. He's just spinning, but he's doing it really well. Okay, it's harder than it looks. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, this is all because I just he's doing that. He's ground pounding to land on ledges faster. There's all these minor little optimizations, all because I just made it so that this submits your high score immediately. So learn how to use APIs. That's my recommendation. If you're a coder. They're very intimidating to look at, but they're, very nice to use when you figure them out. They really expand what you can do. I don't know if they use any bugs, but they definitely use some unintended movement options. Copy of the slides. Sure. Actually, let me just run through those. There. Actually, no, instead of just giving you that, let me just download it and then paste it here.
We also have another question.
What's the question?
If you make a game that has an unintended feature but makes the game fun, what do you do with it? I.e., speedrun tech.
You leave it in unless it breaks the game. You basically the speedrun tech should be something that you have to go out of your way for. If every user is encountering it, then it is bad. That is a bug. But you shouldn't be so all in on it, right? If you want to you know what I'm saying there, let's say there's this cutscene skip if you skip a douche up this ledge, and you have to do this pixel, whatever, right? Don't remove that because there's no chance that a regular user is going to encounter that. Like think of the wall in Wind Waker. We finally found a way to get through the wall, but it's if patching was available. Do you think Nintendo would actually go out and be like, let's patch that? Actually they might, but any reasonable game dev would go out and patch that if it took a decade plus to get through that wall. If there's no way someone's gonna just randomly walk into that,
Are there any examples of video of game tech in Renane or any of your other games?
So initially, this actually became a core thing. It's not necessary, but so peyote time. You guys know what peyote time is? Basically, when you walk off a ledge, you have X amount of frames to jump. This is something you should always put in your games for the record, unless you want it to be very, very difficult. So Renane has 10 frames. It's very generous. And what happened was because how the code was written, when you're rolling, the peyote time does not count down. So if you roll off a ledge, you can jump afterwards for 10 frames afterwards. So, yeah. Make that model myself. I made the soda can head. I didn't make the whole body. This is like an anime boy that I slapped on the soda can head onto. Blender, how to make a soda can tutorial. And then I made this amazing texture. And there you go. The things you can learn in 3 hours. Like seriously, if you actually like sit down and watch a tutorial and just like really go through it, you can learn a lot of stuff really fast, surprisingly. But focusing is the hard part. And you guys know about the flow state? This is actually something important when working. It takes 40 minutes to enter your flow state. Once you enter your flow state, it takes, I think, 2 minutes to get out of it. In your flow state, you are a lot better at doing pretty much anything, like hyper-focused. It's like when time starts to sink away. But like I said, 2 minutes. Going to the bathroom and looking at your phone is enough to get out of it. Going to the bathroom by itself, probably not. That's 2 minutes on average. There's give or take.
Wait, so does the flow state last 2 minutes, or does it take 2 minutes to get out of?
No, it's a flow state's as long as you want it to be until you get
Yeah.
tired. But yeah, I don't know, dude. I hate homework, dude. That's the thing I don't miss from school. I miss a lot of things from school, but homework ain't one of them. Work I got now, I got the life or death kind of work. The don't do this by this certain deadline or you're gonna, not be able to afford food kind of work. It's a lot more pressure. It's not that tight, don't worry, but screw around enough times and you will find out. I don't have homework.
Do you have any cool
I
indie
work from home.
projects? Oh, yeah, continue.
What?
You continue what you were saying.
No, that was the end of it.
Oh, okay. Do you have any cool indie projects that you've seen online that you'd like to, show to us or recommend, check out?
Well, definitely do check out Arcus Chroma. That's a cool game. I'm thinking a lot of the people I know are fighting games. Like Five Force Fighter is also a cool game. My buddy Lupa makes this game called Curse Crackers, which you should check out. That's on Steam right now, and they're making another game called Prodigal. They have a very cool Game Boy Color looking style, which is really nice to look at. There's can I show a bit of her name right now? Compiling. Watch it crash. Wouldn't that be funny? Be absolutely hilarious. I'm just taking a moment because I'm running OBS and I'm also streaming it, and I'm also, got like this. Here we go. Can you guys see it?
Yeah.
Yes, you can. This is actually what I was working on today. Is just fixing up these warp menus here.
There's actually a demo on Steam, guys, that you can actually play right now. It's really good.
Yeah, it doesn't show as much as I can show you here, but so this is the third area, the desert. Oh, that guy's gonna come back. Don't worry. Oh, forgot I have I have moves unlocked here, so I can do this. This dude goes into cactuses and I guess jumps into them. No. Here's me sucking at Renane. By the way, I can't see chat right now. Some funny things going on.
Someone asked if the warp menu is going to be permanent.
What do you mean? It's the warp system in the game. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
He said he
Camera
specified
here is a little
like the
wonky.
map design. I
Oh
think
no,
it is going to be.
no, that's gonna be. It's just gonna be improved. I drew that in an hour. It was actually after so many years of making this game. I did not have a map of the whole continent really of the kingdom of Lunaria where the game actually takes place. So it's kind of funny that it took that long to do that. I'll show a different area. Actually, let's do it from debug land. That's more fun. I'm proud of that map spinning animation. The adding the compass, all that, I added that like 2 days ago. But the scrolling map menu was there for a while. Can I enter this place the normal way? Oh, I just crashed immediately. Never mind. No, I can't. How much lore do I make? Tons. Literal tons. You have no idea. More than you will probably even see. Why do I go transparent sometimes? What do you mean transparent?
I think he's asking about the hit effects that Renee has when she gets hit.
Did you just call them a he?
No, I
Do you
said
not know
she.
that A's a girl?
I said she. I said
I
she.
was about to say, you know. I was
I
about to
know
say.
that. I know that.
I don't know. I heard he. We're canceling him.
It's over, party.
Misgendering my night. First you use Unity, then you do this. I don't think that gate's broken, so let's fix that later. Oh. I could have done nothing there and it would have been better than jumping at it. Because those things become explosives. Like that. Oh, jeez. This is Renane. His reputation slowly dwindling. That's actually what I'm here for. This is a psyop. I'm here to ruin Cheese's career. See, I'm threatened by it. You know, I'm like, he's too powerful, so you gotta take him down a peg.
Yeah.
Wow, did I really just miss everything? When's this club? You guys go 90 minutes usually? Online?
No, we're actually supposed to end at 5:30, but I think just kept going. So
All
I
right.
mean, yeah. You can keep going for as
Where the
long as
hell
you
does this
want.
go?
We usually end at 5:30.
What just happened? That's not where that door is supposed to lead me. This is like the Twilight Zone, dude. What? This like just endlessly loops now? It's kind of funny. That's also kind of terrifying. Let me fix that real quick. It's probably one line.
Is there a way for us to hear sound as well?
Yes, but there's not in this level. There isn't any. So
Oh, because the soundtrack is fire.
yeah, but this level doesn't. I wonder if this place has anything. Oh, Chompy's here. I didn't even mention Chompy. How did I get through an entire presentation without mentioning Chompy once? I made plushies of this dude.
Yeah, wait. That just occurred to me as well.
Do you hear the music?
No, I don't. I don't hear it.
You don't hear anything?
No. Hey, you guys hear anything?
No, I don't know why.
Oh, it doesn't work on
You hear
Discord
it
because it's not
now?
a stream.
Do you hear it
No,
now?
I think it might be a
No?
stage thing. Yeah, no, it's a virtual camera. Hmm. Oh yeah, he's right. It is a camera. It's not an actual stream, right? So you might not be able to hear it.
Sure. Well, go play the demo then.
I think one of my favorite things about Renee is like the soundtrack is like really unique. Like I haven't heard anything like that for that kind of game.
Yeah. hmm Any other questions?
Um, there's one question about who does the art for your games and stuff. So on top of your art, who else does the art?
Right now I'm actually between artists. Fun fact. So I'm handling a lot of the art now, but I'm looking for an artist to replace the old one. Um, Situations change. Work on something for a long time, you know. So yeah. Um, yeah, there's Sinclair Strange who's really cool. He's the tile environmental artist. Um, this dude right here, and then there's um, it's actually this is boy. So this is Sinclair Strange. He does a lot of. He's the environmental artist. He does a lot of cool things. He's like a one man machine. He's actually the only person in history to win Ludum Dare by himself twice in the group stage, as in the 3 day group thing. He won it by himself twice.
Really?
Um, he was the first
What? I
person
thought
to
that was
win it by
impossible.
himself and the only person to win it by himself, and he's the only person to ever win it by himself twice as well. He's a one man machine. He does art, music, and sound. He's like just ridiculous. Um, his work ethic during work jams is insane. But he never
That's
finishes his shit, so I give him crap for it. Like outside of those, Carry On just defined a lot of the early art for this game, and he's back as an artist for backgrounds and other environments. And I really can't wait because look at his shit; it's so good. Like, look at that, you know, like um. So the forest backgrounds were all done by him, and people were like, "Oh, it looks so good." Yeah, they are because he's really good. He's gonna be at PAX East, bringing him over for some on the East Coast. So he's this is by the way, like if you are a pixel artist, you will probably look at this and be like, holy shit, because you cannot do smoke like this easily. It is like borderline impossible to have. Like, this shows like mastery, like actual mastery of pixel art to know how to make smoke like this. Look at if you zoom in, it's all pixel by pixel. Yeah, he's on a different level. Like he's seriously on a different level. Um, he's also a very friendly person. Generally one of the coolest people. Also, look at environments. I'm probably gonna try to get him on concepts too. His early art for Renine, you can actually see it in the first Kickstarter. Mm, It's the best. It's actually kind of hard to find some. The Kickstarter links get like hidden um after you replace it with something else, essentially. So he had some of his concepts out here. Where are they? These. Bringing some of the visuals like this back would be kind of crazy. Well, this is back when the game had like a wireframe look. This is the style I developed originally. And he like really just went to town with it. Yeah. So I'm excited about that. Yeah, the fandom wiki, this is before fandom was shit. This was made in 2017. The Renane wiki is a little out of date, not gonna lie, but the best thing on AIM is actually in the Framemakers wiki. If you go to Framemakers wiki, they have a very good document about there because she's like, you know, they're all like the Smash wiki dudes who became Smash Flash wiki dudes who became Framemaker wiki dudes. So they've been like kind of going at it for a while. See. This became a meme though, because it says here it shows low damage. Cheese, did you see the low damage meme?
I haven't actually.
This one.
No, I don't think I've seen this before. All right,
Yeah,
people
it's
are
like
leaving.
low
I
damage.
think this is where we should wrap it up.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming, man. Really awesome to have you here.
All right. See you guys. I'm gonna go
Bye.
play Tekken 8.
Tekken 8.
All right. Yeah, catch. I mean, not during your time, honestly, but if you ever are around during my stream, come see it. Though I kind of run it early, which is not a good time zone for you guys. But yeah.
Yeah.
See us.
See ya. All right. That was the meeting. Kale, you got all that on the VOD?
We got it all. That was really cool.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, I can drag him. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how to drag.
I'll invite everybody to speak. Alright, I'll get you.
Okay.
VOD review.
Let's get everyone back in.
E.
Dip out. I am just
Oh.
gonna dip out though. I was just posting that.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, I goodbye.
But you had the audacity to remove me as a speaker. That's it. Banned from stream. That's it.
This is
Outta here.
actually like
No.
like your reputation is gone, Ryan. I'm so sorry.
Ooh.
This is it.
It's
Go
over.
home, cheese boy.
Come back in 1,000 years until you've trained
Yeah.
hard enough to fight him.
Or just don't come back at all, actually.
Trained
Be like that
1,000 years.
the 2,000-year-old cheese they found.
Real. Oh yes, I do know that. I do know about the two that.
Where they'll make the ultimate grilled cheese sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the piece of cheese they had in Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Cheese touch.
Cheese touch.
Don't get the cheese touch.
Right.
Yeah.
I can't open a PPT. I'm on Mac.
Same.
No.
Actually, wait. I think no, I can't. I actually have Microsoft PowerPoint editor.
On a Mac?
Yeah, I think
How?
no, I have Keynote. What is Keynote? It's a thing.